let's talk to Nicholas.
Speaking of, on the other side of it, there is finally Aladdin on Blu-ray.
Yeah, well, I think it's out in like a week or something, right?
I thought it came out on Tuesday.
I think it's out digitally, but I think the Blu-ray is out.
Okay.
Yeah. To my knowledge.
Either way, it's finally coming out.
Either way, it is.
After 15 years.
Oh my God, what took so long? Anyway, what's up, Nicholas Sparks, or whatever your name is? Al Sparks.
Hey, yeah, I just had a question I want to know. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew you were in over your head or like out of your league?
Life.
Never?
Other than that, that answer kind of summed it all up.
No.
Man, a specific moment that happens to me on a daily basis, so it's hard for me to honestly, for me, this is a business thing, so it's not an exciting life thing. When we did that Mega64 Blu-ray box set, that first one, we had never made a Blu-ray at all ever, but not only that, it was a relatively expensive box set. To produce it was so costly and so whatever that that's a side I never really show, but it was phenomenally hard to get that to work, and I had to really pull every string possible to get that produced, and if it didn't do well, I was fucked. And also too, like when we had it manufactured, typically, the place that we go to manufacture this stuff, the company we work with, we pay them to make it all, and then when it's done, we pay the rest for like, okay, here's what we received. When the box set was done, after all that work, we went to the factory, and they told us, this is such an expensive operation to even do it, we need it all up front. Oh. And I was just in their office going, are you fucking serious? Like, it was like, well, I don't even know. I mean, like, so many people are going to be pissed if they can't get this. Like, we came this far that I had to, like, beg the head of the company, hey, we've been working with you for over a decade. You know we ain't going anywhere. Here's where I live. Here's this and this and this and this and this. You could ruin me tomorrow if you wanted to. You know we're not going anywhere. We're not going to run out and not pay. And they actually went for it.
Wow.
And they went,
that's
okay, we trust you.
Dude,
and they did it, and they helped us, and we made the whole set, and it did really, really, really well. And because of everybody out there ordering it and all that stuff, like that funded our projects for a long time because it did so well and things like that. So thank you to everybody watching. But for a few weeks at least, I felt like we went too far. This is too much. Like, I really didn't know. If it didn't do well, that was like, I didn't realize the stakes were that high going into it.
Wow.
It's a little thing, but it ended up being a big thing. Anyway, that's all. Sorry I talked so much about that.
That's fine.
What about anybody else?
No, I mean,
other than you, life.
Like just in general, every single day I wake up, I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get this done?
Yeah.
But I mean, I think if I can't share a story, I can share the mindset that I have when it comes into that stuff. It's like, well, you just break it down in little pieces and you just kind of attack it as you can, and like, if you don't make it right the first time, then you learn what you did wrong, and you pick up and use those lessons for the next time it comes up.
Exactly. You know, actually, who helped me with that and through that to where I don't stress as much, and he's not going to realize that he did that until I say it right now. It was Eric.
Really?
When I was working on version 3, that was another situation where version 3 had to be like in manufacturing in like 2 weeks, and the last episode like wasn't done. And no, maybe that was done, but like none of the extras were done. The DVD wasn't off. There was a whole bunch of shit that was not done. And Eric said something that I remember every time. Oh, wow. Eric said, but in 2 weeks it'll be done. I was like, well, I don't know. I hope it will. And he's like, no, you're going to get it done. In 2 weeks from now, you'll be in bed and thinking about, oh man, remember that? Like, you're going to get there. Yeah. So do it now. You said something to that effect. But in 2 weeks, you will be done. In 2 weeks, this will all be over and you'll have moved on.
I think
And I just kept thinking to that, holy
Yeah.
shit, in 2 weeks I'll be eating cereal and not working on this.
I think
And
about that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Whenever you're hard up against something and you have like a lot of stuff going on, you always think about like, yeah, remember a year ago when you had like these same problems, but like they were totally different.
Yeah.
And now you're looking back a year ago and you're like,
Exactly.
oh yeah, fuck, man, remember that stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
And
it's because you finished it. So.
2 weeks in the span of your life is not that much.
Nope.
And so once he said that, I really kept that in mind. I thought in 2 weeks I'll be taking a shit and playing 3DS, and I won't care.
Yeah.
So 3DS wasn't out at that point, so I apologize. That was not correct. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. The day starts and the day ends, and it's just like whatever you fill that time with. You either make it or you don't.
Yeah.
And if, like I said, if you don't make it, then you learn from what you could have done to make it, and then you just move on. Because I mean, what else are you gonna do? Just sit there and wallow? Otherwise, nothing gets done.
Yeah.
You just gotta try. I think.
Hey, fucking do it or don't.
Exactly.
If you don't want to do it, don't do it. The choice is up to you.
Yep.
That's it.
Do
Shut
it.
up and move on.
Do it or do it or no do not or don't do it.
No, you nailed it.
There is no try.
Try it or not.
Shakespeare.
Try it or not. Just fucking do it. Yoda.
Look at the time. But that really did help me. Look at the time ahead of what you're stressing about and realize.
Oh, look back.
Well, you'll be there.
I was
so just
back.
get there.
I was
Bro,
look back and go
I
like,
look back a year and I go, what was I doing a year ago? I remember all that stress, and sometimes it feels like really big and you can't get away from it.
Yes.
All you can do is just try to keep moving forward. Just kind of put your nose to the grindstone and keep going. But whatever. I mean, do it or don't. It's up to you ultimately.
Yep.
Because if you don't want to do it, you don't have to. Nobody gives a shit one way or another if you do it or don't.
Last year was also really scary for me too. Again, we never share this kind of stuff, but for some reason we were at a point late last year in Mega64, in the timeline of Mega64. Late last year, there were a bunch of companies we worked with that did not pay us.
Oh, I remember this.
And I know that I'm not going to go into detail or whatever, but it was a point where it was like, hey, we got to like fund game days. Like that's coming up. And I mean, we need to do that. We need to do all kinds of stuff. And no one has paid us a dime and all that stuff. But again, it always works out because it's like, well, that's in a month. Anything can happen in a month. And sure enough, what happened in that month? Man, people were pre-ordering. Time is running out on Blu-ray. We were working on all these other jobs that were really good for us, and Game Days was doing well, so it didn't matter. That's not to say I had to worry because you never know, but getting through, I think back to that and it's like, hey, I got through that,
Yeah.
and I know I'll be stressed about something this year. Hey, remember that? That worked out. Is it going to be much worse than that? I don't think it will. So, I'm not worried about it. You worry to a point still, of course.
You have to.
You're bound to.
Otherwise, it's not important to you. And it's not worth your time.
Yeah, but anyway, it was just interesting. It all came to be. I wish I could talk more though about the companies not paying us thing.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to, but I do have the only memories that I really carry with me from the whole thing was being on the phone with a group that promised us something that didn't deliver, and I'm always really amicable and nice, and I'm calling every day yelling at somebody. Because every day, it got to a point where it's like, hey, can't eat if you don't deliver on this, just so you know. Okay. Oh, they didn't do it the next day? Okay. And it got to a point where I was calling a person every day and yelling. And that didn't feel good.
No.
Like, even though I was right, it didn't feel good breathing fire every day. Mm-hmm. But again, it got done. And now I think back to that, and so when I'm stressed about something this week, I think back to that, and it's like, I got through that.
Remember that from a year ago?
Yeah, remember that?
Anymore.
That doesn't matter in any way,
Yeah.
That's life, and then we die, and then people have more stresses that don't involve us.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's
C'est la
it.
vie.
I hope I stress people out long after I'm dead.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can hope for.
Yeah.
I feel that way about there's a lot of drama this week with Disney. Mm-hmm. Last night, secretly, they raised the prices of everything.
Not only did they raise the prices, but they eliminated.
The top pass and replaced it with one that is $300 more at least than it used to be.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever. But the reason I'm bringing that up now is I think that about Walt Disney. Did people realize people would be stressed about his shit?
Yeah.
That's like, funny. I just built this place to be fucking fun, man.
Yeah.
And he's long dead, and it's just rage.
Yep.
Anyway.
This is the most upsetting thing they've done in a long time.
Yeah.
Not to get too deep into it, but that was like, come on. But yeah.
It you know, when it happened, I heard about it. I have two ways that I looked at that. Not to go on that tangent for too long, but I thought, well, it has been so overrun lately that okay, well, they boost the prices. I guess that will help with that, you know, or whatever. And so I honestly like I can still renew my thing, I think. And so I'm good. So I'm like, well, I'm good. So whatever. But I was talking with Jason Cryer, our artist, and he had a really good point about it. He's like, was Disneyland ever supposed to be just all rich assholes? And I was like, oh,
yeah. Well, it is now. So
no, Disneyland is your place.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.
There you go. So,
thank you.
Thanks for your call. Got more than you bargained for. Can we see that lovely artwork
can you show us the lovely
over your left your
what,
left shoulder?
that?
No, fuck that. No. I don't want to see Mars. There we go.
Hey.
That's better.
Oh,
That's
beautiful.
Cool picture.
That's the kind of thing that I feel like if I had it in my bathroom, it would help me pee.
Yep.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
one thing I
Thank
like
you,
about
guys.
Japan. Man, going in bathrooms in there, they're playing wilderness sounds. Thank you.
I can pee here.
Piss easily. Anyway.
All right.
Cool.
Thank
you.
Take care, buddy.
We covered a lot in that call. That was a good call.
I'm going to bounce.
I think
You're going to bounce?
Yeah. I think
Okay.